Welcome guys to Lachesis' comparison video to 213. I'm going to be calling them Latch and 213 for the video, just so you know and keep up with it easily. So this AC's entire design philosophy is not that different from 213's. Both create a stagger situation, using ACS as both a punish, a means to make space. Their weapons are essentially area of denial, and their main weapons are used to hold and build ACS at range. Let's do the comparison. Right here we have our older AC. I've had this one since about a month or so after the game released. And we use the Ludlow for close range ACS build and hold. This will help keep it high, or at least keep it up. Etzogen will build ACS, as you're probably very aware, pretty decently when it's getting its hits. Combine that with the Ludlow and it builds very quickly. The Javelin is essentially a long-range, long lock-on Taiyang Shou, just at a different distance with a lot more trickery to it. Both of these do the same thing in creating a large explosion with high ACS build, so the machine guns can take advantage of that, or vice versa. The frame is built to be a, air quotes, tanky lightweight. It's not as tanky as you can make them, obviously, but its focus is mobility and speed. The arm choice is a good example of this. The speed was chosen because of its weak quick boost and its powerful main boost, so that I can massage the range of the Taiyang Shou well. FCS should be obvious, Ling Tai because it's just one of the better lightweight generators. Going on to Latch, you can see the design philosophy looks very different. Whole different AC. Very close and similar thought process, however. Stats are on the right if you care to look. I won't go through the weapons here shortly. Again, the Turner, it's exactly what the Etzogen does, or the Ludlow does in the other one. Kind of does a little bit of both, but worse. Range ACS maintenance, and that's about it. This is the builder. You use this at distance, and of course now you can rattle a little bit. Much easier method of applying ACS at a further distance, chosen because it has a higher ACS value than other missiles, comparatively speaking. This needs no introduction. I am the Werger problem. Charged shotgun, acts like a long-range Qatar at about 85 to 90, and causes stun on hit. This is our bread and butter combo we use to stop people in their tracks, usually get an ACS break for additional damage, hopefully get an ACS break for the other Werger. The core is necessary to make the AC function, as you can see on the stats on the right. Knock dryer legs, again, no ejection, we die like real men. And chosen for the jump, of course. A little booster, again, chosen for the high-powered quick boost, high speed. I don't care that it's not efficient, it gets the job done. That was the contender, it's just too slow. The quick boost reload time is too bad on the NGIs to function, and everything else that's fast enough isn't good enough. Lachesis should be obvious for something in close range, it's the best tracking. And the 150 generator, the VE-20B, is necessary to make the Wergers hit like a truck. Assault armor for stopping things. Now this is what 213 looks like as a test. This is kind of how the ethos generally plays out. You'll notice you hold the missile until the ACS is done, so you can get another ACS, and you chain these back and forth after you get the first one or two. Using the weapons given, not a difficult task. Here it is against the testing MT. I think I do a couple of these. And again, it's just to get an idea of what it can do against more reasonable to break targets than the test AC, because the test AC has a low stagger from what I can tell. Here should be the alternate version. There we go. I think I shuffled this a little bit. early. A couple frames too early. And here it is in practice. Now you'll notice that's not a lot of damage on the ACS brake. Not usually the point. The point is to deny them close attacks to me, or at least staying close hurts a lot. You typically with 213 get one or the other. Always shoot at that with machine guns, by the way. The fast rate of fire typically destroys that shield quickly. That was an amazing example of what 213 doesn't want, someone that close consistently. And this is usually how it plays out. And that's all against the AI, of course, the arena opponents for ease of use. And we're going to go back to the test with Latch so you can see exactly how this works. This is kind of the classic. And punish on Wurger, punish with Wurger. That's not how you see it in the ranked a lot of times, because the Wurger ends up being the first weapon used, because people are attempting to get very close to you with double melee or something such like that. And this is going to be more what you're used to seeing on the channel. On to the other tests. After this one, we'll have an arena fight as well, just like the other one, so you get a better idea of what's going on. And again, great, it works. A practical test against Locksmith again. Now that's typically how it plays out in actual games. Remember, you don't always have to get the brakes for it to hurt. It's just better if you do. And the shotguns. Now this is an example of another AC type. But this is kind of what led me to the Wurgers in the first place. We're going to play a little game here. When you're looking at all these ACs, both 213, Latch, Pillar, and some of the other ones you'll see later on, there are a whole bunch in this test. That said, why don't you guys go down to the comments section and let me know what you think the actual difference is at this point. Because I've already mentioned it and showed it off in the video in a way. And we'll get on to this right now, as soon as Pillar gets into the fight with Locksmith. Okay, this shouldn't take too long, but we're going to get into this here in a minute. We got two fights, this one, and, one fight. This one, and an example from Silver Star, which is largely the same as you saw. But this is an example of it being successful. And here we have another AC using kind of a mixture between 213 because of having missiles to build the ACS for you. And what that can look like. Doesn't have a punish, but that's kind of how it feels. So, can you guess what it is yet? That's right. All those first ones have stun. And this starts the first of the no stun AC section of the video. Now when I say stun, I don't mean ACS break. Yes, ACS break is a stun, but it's not staggered. It's not forcing the opponent to stop what they're doing, which is something that I don't think is rare in the game, but it is unusual. You don't see it very often. It's uncommon at its most common. Things like the Worker, the Laser Blade Full Charge, things that have a reasonable, decent chance of hitting things, Laser Blade Full Charge notwithstanding. It is the only way to force stop something, which is a big deal, because if you have a way of forcing movement to cease, that's added damage. And in reality, the no stun guys here just don't focus on doing ACS or stagger. They just do their own thing. The RJ did a lot of ACS damage with its missiles, but it's still not the greatest. And while this thing has a good punish in the electrical pistols, it doesn't build enough ACS damage with the other weapons for it to really make a difference. This AC is more of the same. It has options that do have stun, but relying on it is not what it does. Not usually. When you get the stun, it's good, but that is typically the result. And you're likely not going to get more than one in an actual fight with someone online. The missiles are too easy to dodge by themselves, and even if you are making good use of them, in my opinion anyway, the chances are of this working out, it's not the same. So while I'm sure there are people out there who can make this sort of thing function, at least reasonably well, one, I'm not one of them, and two, I just see this being suboptimal in a lot of ways, especially when you're considering like close, medium, long as far as your basic ranges. This next AC, if you've been a fan of the channel for any length of time, you've seen it at least a couple of times. This is what I call a Great Box. It's pretty self-explanatory. Right now, it's running the Ransetsu RF from the left. I need to change the hand weapons because they're just bad. But this will get the idea across because this footage I already knew. And it is essentially using the laser cannon as both a punish, a stagger build, and if someone does something where animation locks them for any length of time, sometimes you can get an uncharged shot. It's pretty good for that, but ultimately this AC suffers the same problem the other no stun guys do. Another good example. Basic missiles, the machine guns, and the napalm thrower. Now the napalm thrower is on there mostly as a joke. I don't really have anything else better to put on there. Could just do other missiles. It might be slightly better. This one focuses on ACS break, but it doesn't really have any kind of forced stun mechanic. You don't have the laser blades, you don't have workers, you don't have things like a full charge shot to make that happen. And even then, with this thing relying on the ACS is probably not a great idea just because of its preference. Now these are the ACS braking designs. Now, not all of them are going to be optimal or meta or none of that. It's just examples I have laying around. And Mercury here has always been a work in progress. It's still bad. But at least it shows off what I'm talking about. This is actually a decent work in progress. And it shows off quite excellently what I'm talking about. You do this correctly, you one combo someone. And it works. A less consistent, though safer to run version of that is SWAT here with the Huxleys and Zimmerman and Pocket. And yes, it's used to use the slingshot and other such things to make its fat neck self move around while stunning. This is a more classic weapon, still running one Zimmerman, the earshot, and the 10-cell missile launcher. And it still does exactly that. It is reliant on ACS breaks, and when it gets them, it absolutely deletes things. Two Zimmermans and the other loadout will do that. It's well defended, so I can handle it. This is a lightweight, modern, ask air quotes BVO design, or at least pistol stun build. I don't know that it's really actually good, so much as it's one of them, again, I had laying around, and it does a good example of showing off that top. And, pop, pop, pop combo, shotgun. Is it perfect? No, of course not. But that's how you get stunned with the ACS. And this kind of trope goes back and forth. Now, here we have just a playthrough example of 213, and this will be followed by one of Lachesis, doing the same mission. If you liked the video, the usual YouTube stuff, like, favorite, subscribe, and enjoy the missions. Take it easy, guys.
must be our independent firm. Moving to terminate.